Hey, it's Dave Altavilla for Hot Hardware. Good to see you again. Hope you've been well. Happy New Year. I am obviously sharing the camera with a rather large display. This is the Dell UltraSharp 52 Thunderbolt Hub monitor. It is a bodacious, beautiful 52-inch curved IPS Black display. I'm going to take you on a nickel tour and show you what it's made of next. If you've ever looked at your desk and thought, I just have too many monitors, but I could still use more screen real estate. Well, Dell may have designed something that might fit the bill. This is the Dell UltraSharp 52 Thunderbolt Hub monitor, model U5226KW to be exact. It's a 52-inch 6K IPS Black ultra-wide display that could replace a cumbersome multi-monitor setup with a single massive productivity-first display. This is not a gaming flex. And no, it's not a living room TV masquerading as a monitor either. This is a serious tool for creators, analysts, traders, engineers, or anyone who lives inside of multiple windows all day long. So the real question is, does it actually deliver on that promise? Let's break it down. First, let's talk proportions. This is a 51.5-inch curved panel with a 21:9 aspect ratio and a gentle 4200R curvature. On a desk, it feels like a command center, and if a massive amount of screen real estate isn't what you're after, it could be overwhelming. Dell kept the industrial design clean and professional here, like the U40 series. Thin bezels, a compact stand footprint, smart cable routing through its riser keeps things from getting messy, which matters when the screen itself already dominates your field of view. You get height adjustment, tilt, swivel, and even the subtle slant adjustment, which is surprisingly useful for a panel this size. And if you want to arm mount it, Dell offers a standless SKU with VESA mount support that IT folks will appreciate. Despite its size, this display isn't a novelty product. In practice, it's purpose-built for creators, finance professionals, engineers, and other power user types that benefit from large workspace, color accuracy, and efficient ergonomics. Next, let's talk panel tech, because that's where Dell earns its UltraSharp badge with this display. You're looking at a 6144 by 2560 resolution, which works out to 129 pixels per inch. It's dense enough that text stays crisp, even if you have to sit fairly close to this bodacious beauty. The panel employs IPS Black technology, delivering a 2001 contrast ratio, which is about double what the average IPS panel offers typically. Blacks are deeper, whites pop more, and the overall image has noticeably more depth, especially in darker scenes. It's not quite the contrast performance of OLED, of course, but it's the next best thing. Color gamut coverage is excellent. You get 100% of the sRGB color gamut, 99% of DCI-P3, and factory calibration averaging a delta E of under 1.5. For creators, color-critical professionals, or anyone doing visual work alongside productivity tasks, this panel punches well above your typical office monitor. Brightness tops out at 400 nits, which is plenty for home or office environments, though this isn't an HDR certified display. Regardless, colors are vibrant and accurate with spot-on gamut coverage and a nice low average delta E of 0.09 and a maximum of just 1.92 in our testing. Off-axis viewing angle performance is great as well, with minimal color shift and contrast or clarity loss. Display uniformity, on the other hand, is a very tall order for a monitor this size, but our U52 test unit held up pretty well, with a few issues at the corners of the display. That said, backlight bleed was not an issue, even in dark scenes, and generally speaking, even some of the most color-critical users should be satisfied here. In terms of creature comforts, this is a 120 Hz refresh rate panel, and it's variable refresh rate capable as well. No, this isn't a gaming dedicated monitor per se, but at 120 Hz, scrolling and window movement and UI interactions feel easier on the eyes than standard 60 or 75 Hz office displays. Once you get used to it, it's hard to go back. And for gaming, on the panel's fast setting, you do get a 5 millisecond gray to gray response time, which is good enough for all but hardcore enthusiasts or esports gamers, perhaps. Dell also leans heavily into eye comfort as this monitor is TUV Rhineland 5-star certified with hardware level low blue light technology that reduces blue light emissions to 20% or less without impacting color accuracy. There's also an ambient light sensor that automatically adjusts brightness and color temperature based on your room lighting, if you would like to enable that. Moving right along to multitasking and screen management, this is where the U52 really stands out. It supports picture-in-picture with up to 4 partitions, meaning you can connect 2 PCs simultaneously and carve the screen into distinct usable workspaces. Pair that with its built-in KVM and auto KVM switching with a single keyboard and mouse across systems, and suddenly this becomes a great setup for hybrid workers, developers juggling environments, or anyone running multiple machines side by side. On the software side, Dell Display and Peripheral Manager adds smart window tiling, saved layouts, and automatic workspace restoration at startup. This is a simple but practical feature that Dell has perfected over time. DDPM also adds basic display controls for brightness, contrast, as well as KVM management. Speaking of controls, the on-screen controls menu is actuated by a button on the back side of the panel next to the power button, and the menu is both intuitive and easy to navigate. Calling this Dell display just a monitor would undersell it, however. It's really a full-featured Thunderbolt 4 docking station with a 52-inch display attached. You get Thunderbolt 4 connectivity with up to 140 watts EPR power delivery, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet with PXE boot and MAC address pass-through, multiple USB-C and USB-A 10 gigabit ports, HDMI 2.1, DisplayPort 1.4 inputs, and even a handy front-facing pop-out USB-C, USB-A port delivering up to 27-watt charging. For laptop users, this is a one-cable desk setup perfected. One cable in and everything lights up. Display, power, network, peripherals, the whole stack. That's a huge quality of life win, especially for corporate hoteling environments. Audio is handled by dual 9-watt speakers. They're serviceable for calls and casual listening, but you'll still want external speakers or headphones for serious audio fidelity. Power consumption is reasonable for a display of this size, with typical on-mode usage of around 64 watts, though max draw can spike significantly when fully lit in certain scenarios. So let's talk about who this monitor is for and perhaps who it's not for. Let's be clear, this is a massive, gorgeous Thunderbolt Hub-enabled display, and it's not for everyone, though. The Dell UltraSharp 52 makes sense if you'd like to replace 2 to 4 displays with one large canvas. You live in spreadsheets, code, video timelines, stock ticker dashboards, or multiple apps at once. Or perhaps you use a laptop-centric workflow and want a true one-cable desk and care about eye comfort and long session ergonomics. This display is not ideal, however, if your desk space or mounting options are limited, or perhaps if you're a competitive gamer. Regardless, the Dell UltraSharp 52 Thunderbolt Hub monitor isn't about excess. It's about consolidation and ultimate efficiency for those who really need to spread out. It replaces clutter with clarity, cables with simplicity, and multiple screens with one highly refined workspace. Its combination of 6K resolution, IPS Black color fidelity, and gamut coverage, 120Hz smoothness, and Thunderbolt Hub functionality makes it one of the most compelling productivity monitors Dell has ever shipped. At a pricey $28.99, if your work demands screen real estate, flexibility, and top-shelf color fidelity, and you're ready to commit to a single display future, this monitor absolutely earns its keep, and it is recommended hot hardware. So if you're a multi-monitor maven that needs to consolidate, or perhaps a creative professional that just needs
ridiculous amounts of screen real estate to work with, the Dell UltraSharp 52 Thunderbolt Hub monitor could just be what the doctor ordered. It is a massive, beautiful, accurate display with great color gamut coverage, vibrance and contrast with IPS Black technology, as well as an elegant curve and some pretty cool features like integrated Thunderbolt Hub and KVM functionality. But make sure you stop by hothardware.com for our full deep dive review on this display, and hit thumbs up and subscribe if you would so that you get notified when we have more product review coverage, event coverage, or our always entertaining 2.5 Geeks live stream. I'm Dave Altavilla for Hot Hardware with the Dell UltraSharp 52 Thunderbolt Hub monitor. Thanks for stopping by.